Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Source. Okay, well, maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujiro?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
All right. Hey, guess what? I've never been a real estate person. Neither am I going to do so tonight. It doesn't mean that I probably wouldn't think of getting into real estate later on, right? You never know. But this is what's happening: hustling, hustling, and hustling. These houses are supposed to, yes, for those who are watching and who are not Guyanese, you might be asking yourselves, are these houses for people? Yes, houses for people. They're not garage. They're not car garage or storage rooms or whatever. They're actually houses for people. The cost for these houses, 5 million Guyana dollars. 5 million Guyana dollars. You just go and you walk up, and this is what the installed PPP regime is selling to Guyanese. And this is the hope, this is the dream that they're offering people. $5 million. The deal for this, and I hope that the opposition, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I got to just say this. Yeah, the opposition, yeah, would ask proper questions and not just wait to go into parliament. They should be right there. A group of these politicians should be right there at these houses, taking photographs and holding a press conference right there. Look at this. Where are they going to put their fence? Where are they going to have a walkway? Are they going to have electricity? What are they going to have? What exactly is this? Is this horse stables? Even if you take a look at the horse stables, you would see those horse stables are looking better than these here. And now ask yourselves this question: who in the regime? We know they came from shabby-looking houses just prior to them becoming ministers. They weren't rich people at all. Very, very poor, filthy, poor people. Do you think Priya Manik Chan would want to go and live in one of those houses? Then again, she probably can't fit through the in the living room or wherever. But on a serious note, sorry, this is not like shaming anybody because of their size. I got some big size people in the family. We all know that. But the reality is, you think Priya can fit through the front door, or anybody as big as Priya? I don't even think J.R. Crawford could fit through that front door. J.R. is a big guy. I don't know what's happening, but this is what they call success story. It's success story. Their success story. That is their success story. Meanwhile, but then again, the last time we saw this man in the mirror, at that speech at Babujan, he was saying, when I look into the mirror, he's still looking into the mirror. Looking into the mirror as they're fighting at Freedom House. They're fighting at Office of the President. Every day they're fighting and cussing out each other. Big time. They are divided. You think the opposition divided? Y'all ain't seeing and hearing nothing yet. The PPP is 10 times worse. 10 times worse. Then again, look what happened. This stadium, we haven't heard anything about it. They're building a big fancy stadium. God in heaven knows where they're putting the stadium. Only God knows where they're putting the stadium. Well, we know where they're putting it. But it's not going to benefit Guyanese. Guyanese right now don't need stadiums and hotels. Guyanese need proper jobs, a proper income. I saw on social media a young lady who visited Guyana, and she was on her way to the airport, and she was cussing out, oh gosh, the place bad. Oil-rich country, billions of dollars. But these baboons who are in office can't do anything with the billions of dollars. Instead, those who don't have any interest in Guyana are the ones who are shipping out and banking hundreds of millions of dollars outside of Guyana. They're enriching themselves at every level. And meanwhile, this is what Guyanese are subjected to. $5 million for this. $5 million. Yes, people want betterment, but not because people want betterment, you're going to just give them any and anything. Where are these people going to have their kids to play? Is there any proper walkway? What about electricity? What about phone? You just take a little swamp area and you put some of these houses down that you have your friends and cronies are building and taxing taxpayers for this. All because these so-called contractors are connected to Jack Dale, they're connected to Irfan Ali, they're connected to all of these baboons in the PPP, at Freedom House, at Office of the President. That is what they're doing. This is not a regime. Of course, we know it's not a legitimate government. It's a gangster agency run by a set of criminals, political criminals and otherwise. They are the ones who are benefiting, not the ordinary poor people from Blackbush Polder, Skeldon, Philippi. Good night to the folks at Philippi. How are you guys doing? Or Cromarty, Tarlergy, Epsom, Evesham? No, Brighton. Those are not the people who are benefiting. You think the people at Alnis are benefiting? No. They're punishing more under this installed PPP regime than they were under the coalition. The PPP has no policy, nothing good for the country, absolutely nothing good. Every single day is a scandal. Every single day is some controversy. And now we know about this contract that was signed by this company on behalf of the quote-unquote government of Guyana. Now the question is, who was paying that 35,000 US dollars per month to this company? That's the question. Who was paying the $35 million? And was that $35 million, 35,000 US dollars, sorry, per month? Was it coming out the pockets of Nazar Mohammed? And who ordered that this lobby company do some work for Nazar? Is it a separate payment or is it one? We need an investigation into this matter. Unfortunately, oh yes, unfortunately, not a word, unless I've missed it, not a word about this shady deal with this lobbying company out in Washington and the government, so-called government of Guyana. Not a word, unless I've missed it. If I have missed it, please, can someone just point me to it? Not a word from the opposition. Not a word. Not a word from the PNC. Not a word from the AFC. Not a single word about this particular deal. Have you guys heard anything about it? If you guys heard, let me know. And I'll quickly say, yes, they've said something. But you guys know I don't miss anything, right? Because I don't sleep. I'm not like most of those in the opposition that gone to bed early o'clock. They're sleeping or they're snoring or they're out hanging out. Meanwhile, Jack Dew and them pay attention to politics 24/7. Some of them in the opposition, instead for them to be on the ground fighting for the people, they're outside of Guyana standing up on the sideline waiting to take some photographs somewhere and all manner of things. But you put them in Guyana on the ground to be there with the people, to stand with the people. They're not standing with the people. They're all standing, most of them are standing on the sideline for themselves. It has got to stop. It has got to stop. But then again, back to this this issue with the this guy, this controversial businessman. Right? Yeah, this guy. Back to this guy. Why is it I repeat, why is it the opposition, they're so quiet about this issue? Why are they so quiet about this issue? I can't understand. I just can't understand. Why are they quiet about this issue? I don't know. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just asking the question. Why are they so bloody quiet about this issue? Not a word from these folks. Not a word from Kim Raj. Not a word from Aubrey Norton. Not a single word. And in fact, the opposition has, mind you, the opposition has a shadow minister of Home Affairs that we hear absolutely nothing about. Nothing about. Sorry, I'm stuttering, right? No, but seriously, nothing about. Who is the shadow minister of Home Affairs? Do you guys know? Who is the shadow minister of Home Affairs? Who is the shadow? I almost forgot. We got J.R. Crawford should be on. We have Mr. Wayne Caesar should be on as well. But really, why is it that we're not and we haven't heard a thing? I don't know. I just, somebody said Miss Edmonds. Sean Henry seems to be smart. We have a lot of smart people here. Lots and lots of smart people. We're hearing from Miss Simmons, or is it Simons? Good evening to you. Someone is saying that, and Miss Simons is saying that she believes that they issued a statement via Facebook. This is one of the biggest controversies right now for the month. The biggest controversy for the month. And a Facebook statement. This should have been a press conference call, an emergency press conference, immediately to deal with this issue and ask questions. Oh man, somebody must make some Facebook post. Show it to me. Screenshot and somebody send it to me. Gosh, for crying out loud. Whatever is happening in that country, I don't know. And then we have the guy who's running under the PPP's slate. And some of you are saying that he wants to be mayor of Georgetown. Well, he's running for some area, Eccles. And if you do know the boundaries, unless the PPP is attempting to change that, the boundary for Georgetown, it is from, I got this guy off the screen. He said he's not a scamper. Not involved in any scampish business. He says he's not involved in any scampish business. Where's my bottle of water? Sorry about that. This is a serious show. But good evening again to all of you. I tell you what, something is wrong with Guyana. Seriously, something is definitely wrong with Guyana. I don't know about you guys, but something is definitely wrong with Guyana. I'm serious about it. Something is definitely wrong with Guyana. But yet when you say something is definitely wrong with Guyana, we have on the other hand, this guy is saying this.
Guyana really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh man, I tell you what, the biggest thing right now, but then again, the opposition, they're quiet. They are so quiet that I'm beginning to wonder. I'm just beginning to wonder why are they so quiet? They're quiet about almost everything. But I got to give them a little credit, though, now. Local government elections around the corner, I got to give them a little credit. At least the opposition leader is speaking up a little more now. And it's good. It's good. But the PPP, gosh, I hear the big time fighting in the PPP, man. Big time fighting in the PPP. They're fighting left, right, and center. They're fighting. Somebody should call Sherrod Duncan. Someone should call Sherrod Duncan and have him take his bell and go in front of Freedom House or in front of the office of the president and ring that bell. Because, you know, whenever there's a fight and you're in the ring, it goes hand in hand, right? Let Duncan take that bell and go in front of the oven, ring that bell, let the fight start. Call Duncan and tell him go. Please, Duncan will be outside the ring, watching some others fight in that ring. Watching some others fight in that ring. I don't know. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. I saw Crawford laughing when you hear, ring that bell. Ring that bell. We got Wayne is on as well. Let's fight. Good night, guys. Good evening.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Mark.
Good evening, guys. Good evening.
Viewers,
Good to see you
listeners.
guys. I don't know. Well, GR get on a brand new shirt tonight. Welcome. Good evening to you, gentlemen. Yeah. Something else. Something else I want to bring to you guys' attention. Something else. But somebody's. Yeah, we mute Mr. Crawford's stuff. His stuff is always. A few years back, this West Bank Demerara youth was killed from a stray bullet. Residents blame police for failing to act after several reports. It was reported then that the security guys them, allegedly from Mohammed Security, including Azruddin Mohammed, allegedly, usually go at the bank of this river and shoot their fancy gun across the other side. And based on the allegations leveled against these guys, including Azruddin Mohammed, is that the bullet hit this 14-year-old boy and killed him. Ryan Prasad. They killed him, allegedly. And the residents are claiming that they have, and this was back in 2013, the family members, someone contacted to say, Mark, we still need justice. They need justice for this little boy that was killed. Residents are claiming that the police failed to act. The police didn't do a thing, all because, you know, who is allegedly involved again. They did nothing, they ignored it, and the family had to bury this little boy. 14-year-old boy, Ryan Prasad. The family still awaiting justice. None whatsoever. No justice at all. Nothing. Holy smoke. Before we bring our guests on, they're already on, let me give a round of applause. Member of Parliament Jermaine Figueroa is speaking out. He is saying that, well, the APNU wants a probe into mismanagement of Carifta athletes. Mismanagement of Carifta athletes. They want a probe. They shouldn't just want a probe targeting this guy, Mr. Hudson, who's the president of the AAG. Hudson has said that people are begging him to stay. I don't know, this guy should go to karaoke tonight and sing this song from the Manhattans or somebody. Don't go, please stay. You know, he is not the only one that should take the heat. The so-called Minister of Sports, Mr. Figueroa, you should ask him to go as well. The director of sports, Steve Ninville, should go as well. And all of the other incompetent individuals in sports, Kashif and others, they should go. This guy is not the main problem. He's not the only reason why those athletes were treated in that manner. He has contributed to it, yes. But what about the others? The others should go. Don't just focus on this one here. But I'm glad that Mr. Figueroa, come on, guys, give Jermaine Figueroa a round of applause. Come on, members in the audience, come on. He's out. He's saying something. Finally. Mr. Cox, Member of Parliament, Mr. Cox, all the way from Region 1. Kudos to you, Mr. Cox. They were protesting out in that region. Our indigenous brothers and sisters, they were out protesting the wickedness of this installed PPP regime. The people have no proper water, no proper electricity, the roads destroyed, all manner of things. Kudos to Mr. Ronald Cox, Member of Parliament for the APNU. Ronald Cox. Good job out there. And also, I'm glad that Jermaine Figueroa is speaking out now. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, the big elephant in the room, not this room, but the big elephant in the political room is fast asleep. Somebody wake Irfan Ali up. This was after the first round. And when I mean the first round, don't get me wrong. Round of fighting at Freedom House. The first round of fighting, we were told that Anil knocked him out. The first round, knocked out. Get the guy that rings the bell to go and ring another bell for them out in the streets. Ring that bell out in the streets. Mr. Crawford and Mr. Caesar, good evening, gentlemen. Let's start off with Crawford. J.R. Crawford right away. What's happening on the quarantine there, sir?
Well, good night again. As usual, the corruption is heavy in this region, and nobody is taking any steps into curbing that behavior. Yes, the opposition is doing some door-to-door stuff, but nobody is speaking out of the wrongdoing. Nobody's bringing issues to the forefront. And you can have an opposition team that, is either wary or leery of, getting these issues out there and, hammering it away. We are seeing too much runaway behavior from the PPP, and I don't know, I can't tell you where we're headed with this team, and I do hope there's an early Congress, and we need to make some hard choices.
Some people might be saying, Mr. Crawford, some people might be saying, talk. What about the representatives out there in Region 6? What about the people in Region 6? I know a lot of folks out there who are complaining they can't take it no more. Cost of living is high. Port Morant market, they don't even sell any longer. Inside the market, there's no proper sales. The people have to come out on the roads. All manner of excuses. If that is the case, people need to protest. If that is the case, people need to see their representatives. Who are the members of Parliament for Region 6? What about my good friend Ganesh? Not Ganesh. Ganesh is from Tongue. Ganesh is them shine banners from Tongue. But what about Dinesh? Jai Prashad? What is he doing? He seems to be silent these days. I don't know what's going on in Berbice there. All we getting is talk. Or should I just jump on a plane and just shut the entire Region 6 down? What's happening, Mr. Crawford?
Mark, when you have this disarray in the leadership, you don't have anybody who is going to give instructions or directives and working for the people. The people themselves, they're going to grumble, they're going to talk about it. Many folks are afraid to open their mouths, they have to be pushed to that point. When you don't have the type of leadership to bring these people out, they're not going to come out. And yes, it's very, very hard. But again, the MPs we supposed to have 4 MPs in this region. You don't see them, and a lot of people are forcing the issue now. They want other people to do those things. You can't be an elected official and expect the man on the street to be doing something that you're entrusted to do. Again, the leadership needs to be much, much more stronger. And if we should be honest with ourselves. If we can't handle the situation, we need to step aside. This is it's people's lives you're talking about, and we keep hearing wait till election. Things are not going to change. When you get people that switching over for the soup, they're not going to come back over. A lot of people saying, oh, they're going to take the soup and come. No, don't take that chance. Bad habits are very hard to break. And anybody who is getting money easily, regardless if it's crumbs, they're not going to want to leave that situation. Look around the world and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Let us, because I do believe that despite of maybe leadership issues or whatever the case may be, people still need to go out. I recall the days when I was out on the streets. It wasn't about leaders. It wasn't about leaders are not coming out or whatever. It wasn't about that. We hit the streets. Lincoln Lewis and I, Norris Witter, and just a couple others, we were there in the streets. We weren't looking for elected officials to be there with us. We had enough. We hit the streets every day. We were locked up. We were beaten. We were threatened. We didn't care. And we were not elected officials. There were some brave citizens also who joined us. We're not seeing that. All we're hearing is a bunch of talk about this, about that. The people already know what the problems are. The people know that this regime is an illegitimate regime. They are corrupt, they are racist, and so forth. We look at who are getting the contracts, their friends and their cronies. But all we're getting is excuses from a lot of those MPs who are not researching. They're doing this, they're doing that. Let's get straight over to, but before we get to Mr. Caesar, Michael Reed, good evening to you, sir. Michael is correct. Michael said Barat, and he had a rat there. Thank you, Michael. Have issues with the APA. The APA is the Amerindian People's Association. He's complaining now. Everything Barra Jagdeo is complaining about. That little rascal, Barra Jagdeo, has no shame. He's a disgrace to that nation. Every single thing he touches turns to the opposite side. It turns the opposite effect of a Midas touch. He is just a liability to Guyana. And you are correct, Michael Reed. He now has an issue with the Amerindian People's Association. He is saying that they are political, that they are APNU. This little, we're on radio, right? So I don't want to finish my sentence. Maybe somebody else can help me. Mr. Caesar, what's happening? How frustrated are you, sir? Let it out tonight.
Yeah, well, Mark, I am very frustrated, yes, because Mr. Crawford was talking about the opposition there. The people are not coming out, Mark, because how do you get people to come out? They have to be empowered. You know, you have to empower the people. How do you empower the people? They have to be on the ground, in the communities. You understand me? Mingling with the people, encouraging them, you know, telling them the reasons why we need to protest, you know. I feel like if, you know, the people are looking for leadership, but the leadership is just not there. The leadership is just not present. There's a lot of infighting going on with the opposition. It needs to stop. It's getting out into the public realm, and it doesn't look good. And it's not going to do well for the confidence of the people in the coalition. You know, you need the people to be confident and comfortable, you know, with voting for the coalition and supporting the coalition. And where does that start? It starts with the leadership. It starts with the leadership of both the PNC and the AFC. We need to have a signed accord. We need to show that we're all on the same page. And as you were saying earlier, Mark, the PPP needs to be checked. And like I said, the PPP cannot be checked in Parliament. I think I made that clear to the MP, Ricky Ramsaroop, the last time he was on the show here. You have to check the PPP in the streets.
Well, the opposition doesn't, they do not want that. But as much as we understand that these guys in the opposition need to get their acts together, some of them are just fighting for photo ops all over the place outside of Guyana, but they're not dealing with issues in Guyana. Some of them, right? But the bigger picture is these rascals, these rats, these corrupt individuals in the PPP regime that are harming Guyana, right? I am sure that the little infighting in the opposition, they can fix it. But the bigger problem is these corrupt bastards in the PPP. How do we fix it? By just saying, let us hit the streets, yes. But people are afraid to hit the streets. Mr. Crawford, back to Region 6. When was the last time you ran into the Member of Parliament, Dinesh Jai Prashad?
Quite a while back.
What are the people saying about these representatives of the opposition in Region 6, sir?
Well, some people are complaining that they're not seeing the people who are supposed to be there to take their complaints, especially further up on the quarantine, upper quarantine, Kanji, and West Berbice. That is something that needs an urgent attention because, like I said, every week that go by, that is where you lose your support base. A lot of people are saying, oh, you know, when the big election comes, we're going to be on the ground. You do not do that with your political game. You have to be on top of it all the time. It's a constant work in progress where you educate your supporters, you keep them informed of what is going on, how it's affecting them negatively. Not everybody would understand things on radio or on television or in print. Sometimes you have to come down to their level because we have to understand that many folks are not there intellectually. But a lot of people now are saying, oh, they're going to see it on Facebook and it will make a difference. No, it wouldn't. You need to see the people. That is how you gain respect and that's how you gain that follow. But, you know, I mean, who am I to keep hitting this iron? It gets to the point where sometimes I get tired. I just don't want to do it anymore.
You know, Chia, with that being said, you know, I think the opposition need to understand that there is no way that they're going to win a razor-thin election in Guyana. In order for the opposition, the coalition to win an election in Guyana, they need to get close to 3/4 of those votes. It has to be a clear win. And I think that they're looking high instead of looking low. Looking low, you should be looking at the people. Don't look at how much money the PPP has. Because, yes, I agree. The PPP right now, from what I'm seeing from them, they're trying to buy an election. Okay? They're trying to buy an election. And the people need to understand that. Because if they allow the PPP to buy this upcoming election, they will be in the same position as they are right now.
All right, guys. You are correct. Let me just have you guys know that I have the leader of the AFC, the Alliance for Change, Member of Parliament, and also Attorney at Law. Kemraj Ramjatan is with us just for a couple of minutes. Mr. Ramjatan, good evening to you, sir.
Hi, Mark. Good evening. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. I just want to thank you for taking time out. I know I called you. It's an impromptu something. But I want your take because I haven't seen the AFC issued a statement concerning what I described and many may describe as a controversy at the Guyana Embassy in Washington, D.C. that caused the ambassador, Mr. Sam Hines, to distance himself from any sort of transaction with the lobbying firm. What is your take on what you have been reading about this transaction between the PPPC regime and that lobbying firm?
Well, there are some sketchy facts about it at this stage, but it does appear, what is quite clear, is that it was a government contract with a lobbying firm for purposes of getting their information across in a more effective way to the government, to the United States. But when we pass that budget, we ask lots of questions about the spendings of money, and we never got any answers as to whether monies are going to be spent on a firm that is going to take up to $5,000 per month, and for a contract that is now lasting at least 2 years, coming on to 3 years. And this is how this government hides its spendings on ludicrous matters like these. We have an embassy official in the Consulate General's office of Manhattan. We got our people here at Foreign Affairs Ministry and all of that to do exactly what they're now taking $35,000 to pay some firm for. I am certain that it is not a PPP's contract. It is a state contract. And that could very well be corruption. So I would want that to be cleared up, because from what I see in the news, it is as if it is a state government, it is a government's contract with the people.
Well, since go ahead,
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No.
So since this is
what makes it rotten.
Yeah, it's a state contract paid for by taxpayers, supposedly. How do you feel now that a private individual or private company is embroiled in this and is supposedly from that very contract, a state contract, that a private citizen is allegedly benefiting from it, and in this case, the Mohammed? Your take on that?
Look, if Mohammed wants and was advised that this firm is very good to do whatever lobbying services he wants, he can certainly do it. I rather suspect that because he is so close to the PPP now, and having the difficulties of getting his American visa, he probably was advised that, look, this firm might help you in that regard. And so he probably acted on that advice that was given to him by some government official. And that is why he went to and I can see that is totally reasonable. I don't have a criticism of that. And that is a private matter. If he gets an advice from the government that says that, look, these people are very effective in what they do, they can help you get your visa, go and take them. And then he goes and take them. And I don't know if he's paying $35,000 per month too, or whatever it is. That is a private arrangement.
Absolutely.
I want to connect up the two. I don't want to connect up the two. My problem is that the government of Ghana, this nasty PPP administration.
Okay, we got that. But I know I interrupted your quality time there. But before you go, as a lawyer, because right away, Mr. Sam Hines issued a statement, and he said in this statement, concerning an article in the Demerara Waves, he says, I wish to categorically state that at no time did I contact or had any discussion with the BGR group pertaining to Mr. Mohammed's visa issues, which from your standpoint, a lawyer, some sort of, do you think it is proper for a embassy official out there, a Guyanese embassy official, to make contact with a lobbying firm on behalf of a private citizen, a businessman, and so forth? Do you think that is proper?
No, I don't think that is proper at all. They can give the businessman the advice that we know that there is a service provided by, let's say, Paul Rickler, and if you would like to have Rickler, he's a very good lawyer, whatever, you could go and contact him. Here is his address, here is his telephone numbers. But if he is doing it on behalf I mean, it is irregular and improper. Don't know if it is unlawful, but
maybe
it is just to give the advice and whatever.
Maybe unlawful. Quickly before we go, AFC contesting local government elections or not?
No, we are not contesting local government. We will be doing the Barbies show tomorrow, and we'll be pleading with Barbicians not to turn up. A lot of them telling me that they're not getting 3 square meals. So I said, what are you going to vote for the PPP for? Ensure that you do not go. Stay away from the polls. It's important.
How healthy is that, though? How healthy? What's the main reason for asking folks to stay away from the polls?
Reasons. The primary reason that you gave us that the list of voters, the voters list has over 160,000 people that bloated names. Then the currencies were not proper at that time. I understand they've now corrected some of the constituencies, although the opposition commissioners have indicated that that was not properly done. Although it was supported by the chairperson of GCOM. But there are other things. Even if you go and you contest and you win seats and so on, the Jagdeo administration, and it is still Jagdeo that is in charge, literally runs all these NDCs. You don't have a democratic process of these, so assuming that you would like to charge the markets at Portmarant an extra $10 for stallholders. No, you cannot do that. Although that is the tier of government that ought to make those decisions. If you want to increase rates and taxes.
We got a little break up there with Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan, the leader of the AFC. You've heard it here. First, that they are not contesting the local government elections. The AFC is not contesting the local government elections. Mr. Ramjatan, I know I asked for just a few minutes. You owe us another hour sometime, maybe next week, right here. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Kemraj Ramjatan there, the leader of the AFC. He just said, you guys heard it here for the first time. Probably you may have heard it somewhere else, but the AFC will not be contesting the local government elections, the upcoming local government elections. The last time the AFC contested those elections was back in, I believe, 2018. 2018, and the results weren't that great. The AFC got 4%, the PPP got 61%, and the PNC got 34%. That was 2018. I'm not sure what's the PNC's position on the local government elections. The last we heard is that they were preparing. Any surprise there, gentlemen? Let's start off with J.R. Crawford. Any surprise from what you heard there from Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not surprised because, like I said, with the AFC, I said it years ago. Their nucleus now, many of them are PPP in actuality, and the good guys who were there to pull the votes are not part of their makeup anymore. So the party has backslid. I don't care what people are saying. I know what I'm saying, and I didn't expect anything different from them. A matter of fact, look in Region 6, last I know he was the chairman for the AFC Region 6. He's a PPP. And if they would have a meeting, 30 minutes after the meeting has been finished, the PPP would have known everything that transpired. And those are the guys.
We're looking at the fact that local government elections, we possibly, well, the WP has never, as far as I'm concerned, they have never participated in local government elections in Guyana. Somebody can prove me wrong for that. Maybe Francine is quite knowledgeable, research a lot. The AFC contested a couple of years back, they got 4%, but the AFC 4 years back is not the same as the AFC today. The PNC, we are not seeing them active at all. Taking a few photographs here and there.
Well, they're saying they're doing door-to-door communications. And
They don't necessarily have to do door-to-door communications. We have the Jehovah's Witnesses doing that, and that's with all due respect to my fellow Jehovah's Witnesses. Mr. Caesar, what's going on? You just heard from Mr. Ranjatan there.
I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. A coalition is supposed to be a group of different parties that comes together as one. So if the AFC is not contesting local government election and the PNC is, it shows a discord there, man.
Well, let me say that there has been a divorce. The AFC divorced the PNC. They finalized their divorce, but they're just cooperating. In other words, it's kind of like they are assisting with the child support in Parliament. They cooperate in Parliament whenever necessary, but they're no longer married. They're separate. They've gone their separate ways. They're done.
Mark,
they're divorced.
But Mark, let's be clear here. When you have two people that are married, right, and there's a separation, there's a divorce, don't that impact the children? It does.
It depends.
Okay, so when they do this divorce, right, it's impacting the
AFC. The AFC gone. They're not paying any child support. They don't care. They're not concerned, and that's it. We can cry until cow come home. Let me get time. They are not paying child support. They don't care about the supporters. They left all of us hanging. We're hanging right now. We should sue the AFC for child support because we helped put them there, and they walked out and they left us now. I'm sure you didn't have anything to eat as yet. I'm sure Crawford ate 2 dongs or guava on the quarantine. Me even eat nothing yet. The AFC walked out and left us after we gone out there. We fight for them. They just left us just like that. And now they're saying they're not participating in the local government elections. All manner of things. I don't know what Aubrey Norton is going to do. Are they really participating in elections or not? I don't know. Crawford, back to you. Sorry, your microphone. Thank you,
Mark, going into this local election with this blotted list, it's going to backfire on the PNC and the other parties because 660,000 people on the list, 237,000 minors, total citizens 750,000. I can't figure out this maths at all. If we go to the polls with this list, it's going to slap us in the face if there's a general election.
They went to the polls with the same list almost in 2018. The PPP got 61%. I don't know how, but the coalition, the PNC got 34%, and the AFC got 4%. I noticed Bantu King is saying here, why don't you guys get together with the opposition parties, strategize on the way forward? The opposition parties, at least they don't want some of us around them, sir or ma'am. They don't want. We have been ostracized. I can speak for myself. If they get a way to boycott me, they'll boycott me right now and bench up radio and so forth. Well, they don't even support anyway, so they can.
Well, I'm the most hated one from both sides. But
so,
on a serious
note, we don't want to help. We don't want to see these vagabonds remain in office. These PPP vagabonds, these crooks.
You see, Mark, what the problem here with the politicians, right? They forgot that they're elected officials and their job is to do the bidding for the people. But they want it the other way around and become boss. They don't want to work with somebody who isn't a buddy with them or who has a different approach. They don't want to listen. They think that their way is the only way, and they're failing every year, and they still want to be in office. You can't be a representation for the people.
We still, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you. We don't know if a third party is going to pop up with some good people.
Well, that is
one of the things, though, that these people in the coalition, they got some MPs who are working, and I give them kudos for that. But the bulk of the MPs are not. 1 second. The bulk of the MPs are not working. They're fighting for themselves. They're pulling each other down. They're just running around thinking that they could become leader, presidential candidate, all manner of things. They're working for themselves, and that is not working in the best interest of the party. We know who some of those individuals are. Some of them are more active outside when they're outside of Guyana, but when they're back in Guyana, they do nothing, absolutely nothing. They're sweet boys and sweet girls. They believe that politics is a modeling agency, and they go on stage and they model, they throw back their hair. Sorry about that. I didn't do that properly. Mr. Caesar, how can we get the message across to those in the opposition that they need to get their act together, sir?
Well, we've been trying to do that now for a long time, you know, and and you know, to the viewer listener comment just now, why don't we get the opposition together, you know, and try to work with them? That's a very good point. But what you got to understand is that a lot of these people have some huge egos, right? And they want to always be right. They are never open to constructive criticism, and therefore they will not grow. And as long as these leaders don't have the ability to grow or is not growing, then the party is not going to be able to move forward. We're going to be stuck in the same place, right? And as you say, Mark, if you have a lot of infighting, where is the growth going to actually happen? When is the time that they're actually going to sit down and actually take care of party business? If we have all these different inside battles going on, we need to get to, you know, party issues, address party issues, you know, address the people on the ground, get the people out, empower the people. I said it before, after the last election, it has fractured the people. They're disappointed. They are done. You need to breathe life into them. The coalition supporters right now, from what I see, they're on life support. They need help.
I wouldn't put them so bad at life support. The people want to stand
no,
up.
Mark. When you have Mark, no. When you have 30 people, when you have 30 people showing up for protest, you're on life support.
1 second. The people, the opposition supporters are not on life support. You might think they're on life support, but trust me, I don't know when was the last time you've been in Guyana or out of Guyana, and this has nothing to do with because people are out of Guyana, right? The people are not on life support. They're peeping the PPP with one eye. The PPP wants to go into communities and brainwash people, and I give a lot of coalition supporters kudos for not falling trap to that sort of crumbs. A few of them have fallen trap because they're weak. Their hearts were never with the party. Their hearts were never with the coalition. We know who those few members are. We know who they are. They're not effective. They can't bring votes to the PPP. I noticed in Region 10 in Linden, you should see who some of those fried fish guys on social media talking. And who are those fried fish? They are just basically knockaround corner guys hitting the tin cup. They were hustlers in the PNC. They didn't get through. All manner of things. Some of them grabbed donations from PNC coalition people. Now you see them talking a bunch of dotishness. Those people are ineffective. But those are the sort of people Jagdale loves. He loves those kind of people, right? Bantu King making sense here now, man. Again, Bantu King is saying the PPP/criminals are running wild in Guyana. Not only are they running wild, they are afraid. The PPP has never been so afraid as they are. It reminds me of back in 2014-15 when the elections were there. They're running wild. They are afraid. They are scared right now. Jagdeo is trembling in his I'll just say boots for now, but he's actually trembling right now. They are afraid. How is it that we're not seeing much of this guy recently? We're not seeing much of him. Where is him? Where is this guy? You guys know who this is, right? Do you guys know who this is? Mr. Caesar?
That's Irfan Ali.
Yes. Where is Irfan Ali? Is this what he's doing with taxpayers' money? Eating and sleeping all day? Eating and sleeping all day while they're holding silly, dotish press conference and making no sense? Is this what you guys put there? Irfan Ali? Irfan Ali lying there outside of Freedom House. Looks as though he got 2 barrels of oil in his stomach. Is this who you guys voted for? Huh? You've been able to rig their way into elections, and look what you guys got. Look what the PPP supporters got. I don't know, but our opposition guys, they need to get their act together, man. They really need to get their act together. The PPP is on the ropes right now. They're about to be knocked out. Knocked out. Get in front of office of the president, in front of Freedom House, ring the bell. Go at Mackenzie Sports Complex, ring the bell. Go at Barbies River Bridge, shut it down, ring the bell. Start up the people. Let them exercise their constitutional rights. Not only Jack Dave can say this, we can say this too. We let Jack Dave say it on our behalf.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country.
When they come to the communities, whether it is in Borby.
This guy spoke there is as though 1 minute he drink bush tea, and then the next voice he drinks Senapadi, soft, very soft spoken. Probably saw somebody at a press conference that he liked. You know how it goes, right? But I'm going to joke quick, and I hope that these folks in the opposition understand that it takes lockup. If you're fighting for people's rights, expect to be locked up. You can't be afraid. You can't be pussycat. And I thank the person who reminded me and sent me a video. Kind of like sometimes, you can get emotional because, sometimes we men could get a bit emotional. Some of us. But somebody sent me this video. And I want some of the MPs to watch it and not be afraid of being locked up for what is right.
Jesus Christ is the worst. It's a must, Jesus Christ went through worst. But I want to know why is it that the government is afraid to retry me? I really want to know why. God bless.
Yep, shackles and handcuffs and every single thing. Our members of parliament, our opposition, our politicians should never be afraid to stand up for what is right. Never be afraid to stand up for what is right. I don't know, my heart goes out for that country, a rich country, but this is how the people have to live in that country. Look at the houses. Look at these so-called houses. Gentlemen, talk about this, please.
Mark, my take on this is a total disrespect to the people of this country. If you're trying to, have low-income housing for the citizens. Why not go the route of a condominium, which is much more respectable for the people? Imagine putting people into these little cubicles. You're really getting them into untouchables. This is Guyana only has 750,000 people, and we can't find respect for all our citizens. Imagine, pushing a family in this environment, and then we are running around saying that how rich we are, and how much growth is expected or projected by these international bodies, and yet they're allowing the Guyanese government, albeit installed, to put shanty towns and ghettos into our society with all this money that's there. So you're seeing that not only that the people from the Guyanese land, but also the people, the international bodies are responsible for keeping us in this substandard way of life.
Certainly, and I pass, Mr. We're looking at 7 minutes after 10 o'clock, Mr. Caesar.
Well, Mark, the first thing, the houses are, well, I don't know if you want to call that a house, but they're right on top of each other, like if we lacking land space in Guyana. And that is absolutely not the case. When the PPP come together and they determine what they want to present to Guyanese as a home, it's not going to be anything that looks good. This government is a government that is here to treat people, to marginalize and treat people as if they are pigs. The people mustn't own anything. You must pass on the East Bank, and you must pass by Air Finale, and you must pass by Jack Deere. You must see these massive houses, and it must just be the rich. The Lincoln Lewis situation is a great example for us to look at. Right? The man is building out something. He's building a swimming pool. He's having all these amenities put in, and the PPP don't like that. That's why he's on the attack, because whenever it comes to showing off, whenever it comes to money, you must see the Barry Jagdeo, the Irfan Ali, the Mohammeds, and these people, and Guyanese got to understand, that Guyana belongs to everyone. Our oil revenue belongs to all of us. You want to build somebody something, you want to be nice to the people, and you want to patronize them and build something for them. You interview everyone and you find out what is their vision. Of course, you would not be able to satisfy some people because they might go, and try to build something above their means. But get a good understanding, because let's say you have a single mother that has about maybe 4 children or even 5 children. What is she going to do in something that looks like that? They're all going to be on top of each other. And then when she buys it, let's say she moves into it, she still have to buy the steps separate. That's quite interesting, I must say.
I don't know how the stove is going to fit in there, unless she's going to use a fireside outside. I don't know how the fridge is going to, refrigerator is going to fit in there. I don't know what size bed could fit in there. And plus, in terms of the couch, I don't know what's going to fit in there. Probably look, at Lot 12, where they had me there as a political prisoner for 5+ years, the cell was slightly bigger than that. Slightly bigger than that. This is a shame and a disgrace. But yet that guy, sorry, I keep guy, yet that guy, Jack Deal, at his press conference, is saying that how Aubrey Norton, that was talking, he doesn't want Guyanese to have good things in an oil-rich country. Shame on you, Barrett Jack Deal. Shame on you. Barrett wouldn't even put Kwame to live in there. He wouldn't even put Kwame or Kwamishas and so forth to live in this, but they want ordinary Guyanese people to go in there and live. He wouldn't live there. Irfan Ali wouldn't live there. That's a fact, because these people believe that they are the only ones who deserve better. Look at Irfan Ali when he just became a minister at 31 years old. He didn't come from no rich family. Nobody never used to sell things out of a suitcase and blow a shell and these are the things and made him rich. But look what he got. Look his, folks, you guys think this is propaganda? Look at his swimming pool at the age of 31. Hardly had any good walk anywhere. But look what he was, look how he was living at 31. Got this house from Gaisuko. God in heaven knows what they paid for it. But look how he was living when he was 31 years old. And he just became a minister. He got lots of land, I believe, on the Linden Suzdike Highway and so forth. But look how they want to live. Look how Jack Deere wants to live. Look how they are living. They are living the good life. They are the fat cats in society. But yet other Guyanese, regardless of your ethnicity, this is how they want you guys to live. You guys, this is not propaganda. No real government would want this for their citizens. No real government. No government with a vision would want this for their citizens. You know, ruthless dictators don't care how people live. They prefer to give their friends and cronies all the best deals, all the prime lands in Guyana, house lots so that they can build condos, they can build houses and sell it for millions upon millions of dollars. But the ordinary citizens, regardless of their ethnicity, this is what you guys are subjected to. No proper yard space. And this is how they want you to bring your kids up, right? This is how they want you to raise your kids. I don't know, guys. I just, something is definitely wrong. People are so frustrated. Look what Big Auntie said. Big Auntie basically said a bunch of things. You think Big Auntie really meant what she said? Big Auntie basically vented her frustration at Big Guy, at Fat Guy. She vented her frustration. I don't know. But next, even in this local government elections, they want to rig it, they will rig it just like they rigged the 2020 elections because they know, gentlemen and ladies who are watching, they know that the citizens of Guyana are frustrated with them. That they're so frustrated that they know that they will be badly beaten. And so they want to go to the elections with the bloated list so that they can rig again. They can rig, and that is what they're doing. They are going to rig it. Gentlemen, let's watch as we prepare to close today. Today's, what is it? Friday night. Yep. We know the elections. They're there. They probably stuffed the ballot boxes already. They probably stuffed things up there at GCOM. That's why they're stuffing it with their own set of people to oversee the corruption at the Guyana Elections Commission, fraud at the Guyana Elections Commission. Shame on Claudette Singh. Shame on that woman that I once respected. I have none, zero respect for her at this time. She is a puppet. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm sounding like that guy who's a council member out there in Flint. Flint, right? Is always yelling, point of order. Gentlemen, your closing remarks. Let's start with who usually stays the longest of the two of you in your closing remarks. Let's have first. You go first, sir.
Mark, did you call me or you call JR? Which one of us is going?
No, you go first with your closing remarks, Mr. Caesar.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, seeing that we on the topic of GCOM, the Guyana Election Commission is to be blamed, Mark, but I would say that's only to a point, because we have a lot of outside influences that is influencing our elections and even how elections is conducted in Guyana. It wasn't that recent, but it wasn't that far removed that the Miss Jane Miller, I think she's a British High Commissioner or the British Ambassador to Guyana, she found it convenient to speak on the bloated list, and I think she had just really gotten into the job. So I was very, I was very confused as to how she has so much knowledge on our electoral matters, and feel like if she could have spoke, on the bloated list, and that it can be used, but it needs to be monitored. I mean, come on, we are oil rich country now. We went to parliament and we passed these massive budgets, and you mean to tell me nothing was allocated to GCOM to get this list fixed and to get, proper voting resources in place for us? That did not happen because these people have they just have one goal, and that is just to continue to rip off the Guyanese people and continue to wreak out our oil wealth. A lot of people are looking to Exxon. Exxon is a very, very large, very extremely large oil company. Not even probably, it's probably the biggest one largest one in the world. So Exxon is never going to fall. Okay, it's upon the Guyanese people, it's upon the opposition to get on the ground. We got to win this election with numbers. We cannot fight a financial battle with nobody because we don't have that type of money. Okay, it's the people. You people got to step up and take your country back, because you guys are gonna be left with nothing. I'm telling you, the government will never, this current government will never have that money trickle down to you guys. It's gonna stay at the top of the pyramid. It's not coming down. So I encourage people, start building yourself, start making your mind up that you're gonna come out and you're gonna vote for the coalition government, no matter what. I know we got local government elections, and I even call on PPP support.
There's no coalition. There's no coalition.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no coalition.
Yeah,
so we can't ask the people to vote for some. We can't ask the people to vote for something that doesn't exist. There's no coalition.
Yeah, it's
none
just
whatsoever.
They're voting for, and that's that. Mark, that's the dynamic I talk about. It's very sad. It's very disappointing. We get up to the last minute without an accord being signed. As soon as we get into the last year, we should already start renegotiating, because it doesn't look like if anybody could win an election in Guyana, at least the PNC standalone. I am not sure, Mark. I am not sure. Maybe they can. I'm not going to say they can't. Maybe they can. But as a coalition, it's a much, much better opportunity to win an election, and it brings more people to the table.
There is no coalition. The WPA, with a couple members, maybe 4, 5, or 6, walked away. Sorry, who's it is a staunch WPA. One of our listeners from a nursing home out in Long Island there, Francine. Outside of that, the WPA walked away with a couple members. Then it's just the PNC. They have 2 paper parties there, just paper. They got Jaipal Sharma, very quiet, very silent, but a good guy, but he walked away. And then we have Sarabu Haley with a paper party. We don't hear nothing. I don't know, man. They got a guy that usually reads the news. It's kind of like a comical kind of thing, as satire. And he just said, man, I fed up. Right? These guys continue. Wrap up. We're looking at wrap up though, Mr. Caesar.
Mark, that's what I talk about. When the people are looking for leadership, there's no solid leadership out there. You see, you heard all that you just said. Now, somebody on the ground, a normal everyday Guyanese, looking at what you just said, what direction do they go in? That's why the PPP is trying to infiltrate the Afro-Guyanese communities, because they feel like if they're in a weakened state right now. That's why they're doing that.
The PPP is in a very weakened state.
They are in a weakened state.
And the PNC folks should be going after the PPP supporters, because the PPP supporters, a lot of them are fed up of the PPP.
But, yeah, well, Mark, if they're fed up, you don't need to. We need to throw this whole race nonsense, man. The Guyana is on the line now. It's no time for race. Your country's on the line. You could lose your country. Your country could be totally sold out to foreign investors. You guys could be paying toll to actually drive the line top if they feel like if they have done the line top and they weren't paid properly in order to recapture what was spent in Guyana. There's a lot of things that could go in place. There's a lot
All
of
right, thank
limitations.
you. Lots of things indeed. Bantu King, don't get too emotional. We need real leaders, leaders who are committed to ordinary ranking folks and everybody. Real leaders, we need, Bantu. Don't allow emotions to get to you. Mr. Crawford, of course, Mr. Wayne Caesar said a lot of things I agree with. People are fed up. There's a reggae song that goes, poor people fed up. People are fed up. They're not getting a fair share of their oil deals or nothing. It's going into the pockets. It's going in deep into other stuff that belongs to Jack Dale and Irfan and their cronies, a bunch of corrupt businessmen in the private sector commission, a bunch of questionable businessmen who are wanted by U.S. law enforcement agencies. Those are the people who are benefiting, not the bulk of the Guyanese people. Mr. Crawford, your closing remarks, please. Keep in mind that it's Friday night.
Well, my take is the first thing for us to become a better country, the citizens have to change their mindset. We have to walk away from the racial alignment in anything that we do. We have to take ownership towards our future. Quite too often you're seeing people who just want things handed to them. If we all decide to be responsible for our future, we combine our forces together, regardless if you're East Indian, Amerindian, blacks, Portuguese, Chinese, whatever, and look at the option instead of voting for race or ethnic religion. Let's vote for something that will make us progressive, what will make us a better nation where we can be on par with the rest of the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere countries. But what we are seeing is the continuation of racial discrimination, racial division, racial motivation, because we are not driven by morals anymore, but we are driven by the lust for money. And not only the lust alone, but the wicked ways of getting easy money. Quite too often you're seeing in today that people who can't read and write have become overnight millionaires because of their association and willingness to do the wrong things. In the same spirit, 90% of the population is being suppressed and everybody's feeling the squeeze, but still some people are going to still vote on race or religion. We need to stop that. As for the coalition, not the coalition, the PNC leadership, some hard choices must be made very, very soon. People need to be replaced ASAP because they cannot bridge the gap. They cannot mingle in certain areas. They cannot convince people to come on board. This is the perfect opportunity for Norton to change certain behavioral traits that he has. There are times when you have to mend fences with your foes to get things to a next level. He has proven that he cannot take the party to the next level without the help of other people. He has proven he is not competent enough to take advantage of the situation where the PPP, as you're clearly saying that they're on the ropes. And the reason for them being on the ropes, their supporters have gotten tired. They have run away to foreign countries. Some have overstayed. I've known many. So now they have to buy the votes and they're going to go to the gullible black middle class and in some cases some older folks who are looking for more than their pension at the end of the month. And we as PNC leaders, we have to make the hard choice. Not because somebody and you are rubbing shoulders, you are going to alienate them and destroy the future of the people of this country. Quite too often we are seeing this method or this behavior where I don't like him, so I'm not going to allow him to come close to leadership. And I will say that personally, that this group of PNC people, to me, in my time, has been the weakest of all the PNC leadership people, and not only with Norton, but the other people, the supporting cast. So we need to see a resurgence. We need to see some hard choices. Stop hiring friends and hire people that will do the job, people who could bring supporters across. And I would like to see the PNC party with as a much different party when you look at it. There must be more East Indian people, more American people in the PNC. We cannot have a party that is painted black. The world has moved past that, and if people are not paying attention, the black man has been relegated to the bottom of the ladder. He's cheap, he is not respected. And that is because we are not respecting ourselves as individuals, and we are not standing pat and standing up for things that would make us a better person tomorrow. We are only looking for soup. The PPP, yes, they're on the ropes. They're under a lot of pressure. There are people who are trying to buy people into their support system because they have done so much wrong things and they're being blatant about it. And if what we're seeing, the black and the people who do not support the PPP cannot see that the international bodies are after the dollars of this country, which is our children's future and our grandchildren. When are we going to wake up? They're not saying nothing about the human rights. They're not saying anything about the cost of living. They're not saying anything about we not stocking up on our gold to back our dollar in the event of the hardship. We're seeing countries are aligning themselves and moving away from the US dollar. We are going to find ourselves in a terrible position. And we are going to be sorry that we ever bring oil to the surface. All because we are racist in some of us, we are stupid, and we are wicked. We do not want to be our brother's keepers. This thing has nothing to do with East Indian and blacks anymore. This has to do with good and evil. And we must take stock in our future. The politicians are not gods. If we, by mistake, elect somebody and they're being crookish, we need to run them out. Jack Joe said it. Chase them out. So it goes both ways.
You're done?
Yep.
Mr. Caesar, you had your time, man. Mr. Caesar, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Caesar. Go ahead.
Yeah, also Mark, let's be on the lookout here, and this is for the opposition, particularly I would say Mr. Roysdale Ford. We still want to see articles of impeachment filed against Mr. Irfan Ali, okay, for breaking the laws, okay, by dissolving the Police Service Commission when he should not have done it. We need to see articles of impeachment prepared there. Also, we would still like to see Miss Roxanne George and Miss Yonette Cummins confirmed. Okay? These guys have work to do. They need to stop. They need to stop playing around like if there's nothing to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. Let's get it going.
Thank you so much. Let's get it going indeed. It's Friday. JR is laughing. JR, you're done with your closing remarks?
You know something I just crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Why aren't we hearing on a weekly basis about the petition? Why is it that we are using that as a convenience tool? Is it that if they're not going to hammer the point, let's hear the petition, then just ask the court to throw it out and leave it alone.
I just don't know what's happening, but we've got to do more than just praying. Every day we fight. We know we got the PPP on the ropes, and this has nothing much to do what those members of parliament who are being paid to do, but it has a heck of a lot to what we do, the few of us who do, to confront the PPP every single day.
That's the few. That's the problem, Mark. The fighters are the ones who are not elected, but who are concerned Guyanese. And the elected officials, the PPP are saying they are sitting there taking the money and doing nothing for the people of the country. And it doesn't entail only PNC supporters. Every single Guyanese is being hurt by a very weak, non-existent opposition team. Every Guyanese.
Absolutely. Every Guyanese indeed. We want to thank you guys so much for watching this evening's program. And as usual, we have our guest. They're no stranger to you guys here, J.R. Crawford, Mr. Caesar, Wayne Caesar. Always a pleasure to have you guys on with us. And to all of our listeners, we thank you. Thank you all so much for being here with us on 107.1 FM. Have a good rest of the night, guys. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
All right. Seems as though we have a lot of people dishing out titles. Vice President, and all manner of things they're giving out tonight. Just to have you guys know that on Sunday, these guys will be speaking. I noticed Roysdale Ford is there, senior counsel, carrying the legal battle for the PNCR and whatever is left there of the coalition, always winning these cases against Anil Nandalal. Seem not to be winning any cases these days, but Roysdale Ford will be speaking at this function. Lincoln Lewis will be there. The mayor of Georgetown, Ubraj Narain. Leon Saul will be there. Dr. Simpson de Silva, the youngest minister under the Burnham regime, probably still the youngest that we have heard of. He was maybe about 20 or 21 years old. He was Minister of Agriculture. And then we have Member of Parliament Ramsarup. He will be part of the panelists at Critchlow Labour College auditorium on Sunday. The issue is about vendors issues. Sunday, April 16th, that is this Sunday at 4:30 p.m. So please go out and be part of the Institute for Action Against Discrimination. And they are heading to Georgetown. Kudos to these guys. And for those of you, somebody asked, how is it that we're doing? And I say that we are doing fine. And for those of you who feel that we should do better, here's an opportunity for you too. If you want to support us, we thank you guys for that. We don't do it every single day, but if you want to, somebody ask, and we just say, if you want to support us. And we'd appreciate if you support us indeed. This is all the information that you have there. Support us, and we appreciate that. Because if Trump could ask, Trump is a billionaire supposed to be, he begs. We're not begging, we're asking. All these politicians, they beg. We don't beg. We just, right, Francine? We don't beg. We just don't beg. We ask. And we're very thankful for what you guys do. We are very thankful. Somebody had asked me to send them this video, and I will send it to them. But this was the day when they asked me to get dressed to go at the Chetty Jagan Dental School to go and check out my teeth and clean up my teeth. And I was so happy. And this day it was like leaving the solitary confinement and hit the streets after many years. Outside looked brand new to me. It was strange. It was a strange world outside. And so this day, I remember it very well. It was just like dressing up and going to the city. And this was dress up for me in the shackles and handcuffs. Have a good night, guys. Love you all.
Jesus Christ went through worst. It's a must, Jesus Christ went through worst. But I want to know why is it that the government is afraid to retry me? I really want to know why. God bless.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Source.
Okay,
Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sudro?
So my relationship? Not
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benscop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benscop, on the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell